This is The Gorge. It's a podcast where my friend Sarah and I gorge ourselves on overanalyzing a topic.
The Gorge is brought to you by Audible. That's right. To get your free audio book of your choice from Audible, go to audibletrial.com/gorgecast. There's over something like 300,000 titles or whatever to choose from. Usually we recommend World War Z. That's the one I'm going to go with again today because it's an appropriately apocalyptic book considering how 2020 has begun. So yeah, if you want to get really grim, I guess you could read or listen to Cormac McCarthy's The Road.
God, what would an audio book of that sound like?
Oh God, misery, probably.
It'd have to be the most
misery.
The most monotonous, depressed narrator you could get.
Oh God.
Like you'd have to get someone who's like recording it at
sobbing through it the whole time.
Or like someone who's like recording it at like 3 a.m. and they're just exhausted.
That's the exact mood of that book, actually. So again, to get your free trial of Audible, go to audibletrial.com/gorgecast. This time, I got the URLs right.
All right, and so what are we doing today, Sarah?
This week, we return to our illustrious, honorable, noble institution of complete bullshit awards. We close out 2019. We're a week late. It's fine. Did you know last week was New Year's? So... yeah.
It was a weird schedule to get
It was
stuff
a weird
up.
time. Yeah. So we're recording a little bit late to celebrate 2019, that dumpster fire of a year. They're all dumpster fires at this point. We just have to make peace with it. By our usual annual Gorgies, the award show with the worst possible name.
Now this year is especially appropriate.
Yes.
Because of the tire fire that was the Game Awards. I mean...
God! God!
How do you close out one of the best years of gaming with that shit show?
It was so bad that this, like, poorly produced podcast between two goobers who just sit around and talk about video games for way too long, 3 times a month, I guarantee you will be a better award show than the Game Awards. We won't have trailers, and we'll still have higher energy than Jeff Keighley at some points. So, yeah. And also, we're not here to suck Hideo Kojima's dick. I don't think that game is on anything.
It's on a few, but, like, not many.
Not many, because, like, it's fine. It's just fine. That's your spoiler awards for the Gorgies. Sarah's, indictment of Death Stranding right now, granted I'm still not very far into it, but you'll see why in a second, is that it's fine. So, and we won't be as shitty and horrible as Ricky Gervais. So,
yes.
My God, we've got a leg up on the Game Awards and on the Golden Globes. We are just
we
batting for the stands.
We need someone to transcribe this so that he'll see it.
Oh, I know, because he name searches himself like a loser on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't even do that, and I'm like the vainest person alive. So, yeah. So, do you want to kick things off, Benjamin?
Yeah, I will announce our first award. This is the best game that we have started but haven't finished yet because games kept coming out.
Yeah, this is a good one.
The nominees for that are Astral Chain, Death Stranding, Disco Elysium, and The Outer Worlds.
Now, caveat, Ben actually has finished, from the time we started writing this list, because we start this list, like 2 or 3 weeks before this episode. In that time, Ben has actually beat Death Stranding. I have not, so it still gets to be on this list. It's fine.
And also, I don't feel like I've actually beaten it, because this game feels like it's missing, like, a big DLC thing.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
We've gotten to the point where, like, a big DLC chapter is kind of the norm now. And
yeah,
I'm like,
that's true.
Where are we going to get, like, a bonus thing in, like, a few months? Or is it,
right.
This is it? Is this the end of it? It's weird.
Yeah.
And I don't like that feeling, but it's there.
That's how most video games are these days. That being said, the winner is Disco Elysium. Sorry,
yes.
I would love to give Disco, like, were it not for the fact that I only have like 5 hours in Disco, I would give Disco Game of the Year. Like, And I mean, I have been streaking from, well, we'll talk about that at the end of the show. I have another very obvious Game of the Year candidate. I like Disco so much that if I had finished it by now, I would have given it Game of the Year. I am 5 hours in, and I think, this might be one of the ones of the decade. It might be it.
Disco Elysium, I finally got... Okay, so like I said, like, I streamed the first 2 hours of it, and then I started it over, because that's not a game you can really stream. It's a game where you kind of have to think about what you're doing and kind of take it as you go.
Read a lot.
And you have to read a lot to make sure you don't miss any important bits of dialogue. So I played it a little bit today, and that is one of the best games I've ever played, without a doubt. Like
in my life, yeah.
It's super up there. And again, it's not on my Game of the Year list because I haven't finished it yet, but if I did, it would be there for sure.
It is phenomenal. The amount of, like, emotion that I have felt in the first 5 hours of Disco. And I know that, like, the real shit is at the end, because that's how video games are, of course. But Disco is so just, like, playing what I have played, the little snippets of just this, like, aching longing for, like, a time gone by, and, like, for both the past and the future, and kind of where you stand in, like, basically an incredibly just ruined society that's been absolutely decimated by neoliberalism, is just like you just really feel it, that it is such a product of, like, its time, but in a really good way. But the director of Parasite, the movie Parasite, was saying that, and it applies to Disco. I'm going somewhere with this. He said that the movie feels, even though, like, it is Korean and set in Korea and has subtitles, the movie is universal because we all live in the same country called capitalism. This is a game made by a bunch of Estonians, and they have a completely different cultural reference point than and yet I still feel like Disco is universal because, again, we all live in the country called capitalism, and that is, like, what Disco is, like, really, really feeling, without ever being, like The Outer Worlds, a game that I am enjoying, but feels, like, way too on the nose with its writing and critique of capitalism.
The satire in The Outer Worlds is way more blatant.
Yeah. Well, I mean, The Outer Worlds is aggressively satirical. Disco is, like, it has satire, but I mean, it really is just, like, this ruminating, like thinking about what it means to live in kind of this society that has been totally ruined by external forces, which is, again, considering how 2020 has kicked off, that is an incredibly thought-provoking and relevant thing to be about. So, yeah, we've spent 8 minutes talking about how good Disco Elysium is, despite not having much time in it. You
really could say that we live in a society.
We live in a society, and we are all dictated by our weird thoughts and feelings, especially Inland Empire. I talk to Inland Empire a lot in Disco Elysium, which is fun. God, that game is so good. Just talking about it, I'm like, we could just be playing Disco right now.
Yeah.
We'll probably, after we beat Disco, we're going to stream Disco, because I really want to do a stream where, like, it is a group effort, where it's you and me trying to do, like, the worst things possible in a run through of Disco Elysium. I think that'd be fun.
That would be fun.
You know, look out for that. So yeah, winner is Disco Elysium. That I can't even speak as highly of the other game, even though I think the other games on this list are really good. I just, if you ask me to talk more about this category, I'd be like, yeah, Death Stranding's fine. But hey, do you want to talk about Disco Elysium some more? I feel like I've become as insufferable as everybody else on Twitter, where I'm just like, hey, have you played Disco yet? So, you know, I feel like I'm gonna be like that for the rest of 2020. So look out for that.
All right.
Next.
So, the next one, after we've just talked the praises of one game, let's talk about the biggest dick trip of the year.
Oh, man. There's so many good ones in here. The nominees are Game of Thrones, Season 8, Google Stadia, Fallout 76, it counts because it's had a whole year, and Star Wars. Star Wars just tripping all over its own dick. So, you know, The Mandalorian, we're not talking about that.
I think that the winner of this one is Game of Thrones.
I think it's Game of Thrones too, because
it's a show that you and I both dropped off of.
Yeah.
But I can't say it was bad. I dropped off because it got too much for me to handle the way I normally consume shows, and I'm like, I don't really want to put in the work for this show.
Yeah, I understand.
But I'm not saying it got bad. It just got not for me anymore.
Yeah, I think I'm like a lot of people. I dropped off at season 5, just like a ton of people, because something about the end of season 5 just kind of scratched me the wrong way, and I was like, I feel like somebody's writing on the wall. Do you guys see writing on the wall? Because I sure as hell do. And then I proceeded to be right for the next 3 seasons, so that felt good. Because, like, Stadia is a disaster, and Fallout 76 is a car crash in slow motion that will go until the heat death of the universe. And Star Wars, I like The Last Jedi, so really, Star Wars just kind of fucked itself over in its last iteration. Star
Wars just kind of, like, fell. Like, it ended limply. But
yeah, but Game of Thrones especially retroactively made it's Mass Effect 3 for TV.
I've never seen it be this unanimous that this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, the shitposting, the Game of Thrones shitposting subreddit is called Free Folk, and it has become a Witcher subreddit now because because The Witcher is just that much better at this point. So yeah, it is a Mass Effect 3 situation where it's like the first 2 or 3 up until the Red Wedding, which I think is either the end of season 3 or the end of season 4. I can't remember right now because it's been so long since I watched Game of Thrones. Up until the Red Wedding, Game of Thrones is like really, really good fucking TV. Like, there's just a lot of really good stuff going on. And then after the Red Wedding, it's like, this is still pretty good, but But, like, those first couple of seasons are, like, really, really solid. But now that you know how it ends, exactly like Mass Effect 3, you know how poorly it ends, you will never, ever touch it ever again.
There's no reason for you, because you know that it's just going to be this weak, pathetic...
They did my boy Jamie so dirty. I'll go to the grave. That's the one that gets me the most. Like, everybody else... I mean, I'm mad about everybody, but I think Jamie's, like... The dirtiness they did Jamie is so unique in how, like, totally lacking in emotional nuance it shows. Like, everything else is just, oh, you wrote these characters bad. But, like, with Jamie Lannister, it's like, you didn't even understand your own character. I get that now. You had no idea what solid gold you had spun and decided to just demolish in literally the last episode of the show. It is stunning to me. So, yeah, Game of Thrones is a special kind of shit. That's gotta be it, man.
It's gotta be. It's the only one that, like, not only, like, in a show that's, like, this dedicated to, like, be, like, in, like, its themes and its setting and its established in-universe rules.
Yeah.
To just, like, completely disregard all of that in the last season universally.
Yeah, it's bad. All the fast travel.
It's real bad.
So, yeah. All right, next.
The next one is the best Smash reveal of the year. And the nominees for this one are Terry Bogard, coming in with over 20 cameos from his series and 50 songs from SNK in general. Mm-hmm. Banjo and Kazooie returning with triumphant fanfare after over a decade of absence from video games in general.
Right.
And Sans.
Sans Undertale, who is literally just a Mii fighter who comes with one song. And the internet lost its collective shit for like a solid week and a half. Like, this is all you, man. I don't play Smash. I say Sans just because I like Sans.
The winner is Sans. It's 100% Sans easily. It's Banjo-Kazooie was, like, on a lot of lists for, like, you know, characters that could reasonably show up. You know, same with Terry Bogard. Like, he's a popular fighting game character, and Ryu and Keter in Smash. Like, it makes sense. Sans was a joke. Sans was, haha, they're gonna put Sans into Smash because Undertale's on the Switch.
Then they put Sans into Smash because Undertale is on the Switch. Shut the fuck up.
Like, Shovel Knight got an amiibo, and it was like, oh, this is a really big deal because Shovel Knight is like an indie character. Like, Shantae was an indie character, and she got in as a spirit. Like, wow.
Right.
That's really cool. Sans is in Smash, and
because then you hear the story of how like Masahiro Sakurai played Smash with Toby Fox. And Toby Fox kicked his ass, and I'm just like, oh god, Toby Fox. Toby Fox is unstoppable.
He there's nothing that even comes close to the level of success that Toby Fox has gotten.
I'm so proud of this dog.
Coming from, like, the guy who makes Homestuck songs to, wait a minute, he's Andrew Hussy's, like, real friend in real life?
He's like Andrew... Didn't he live in Hussy's basement for a while?
Yeah, like, they were roommates for a while. And then he's like, oh, he's putting out, like, one of the best indie games, one of the most iconic indie games of all time, to the point where the Sans version of Megalovania overtook the popularity of the Homestuck version of Megalovania.
Yes. It's pretty intense. And I mean, like, the fun thing about Sans being a Mii fighter is that it truly is the only way you could put Sans in Smash.
It is the most thematically appropriate.
Yeah.
It's the most thematically appropriate meta commentary I've ever seen since Yoshikage Kira came second in the Crunchyroll awards Best Villain. Because like I was mad about that until I'm like, wait, that's actually super in character. Never mind.
That's exactly what he would want. You're right. Yeah. Fans would just be like, I'm just gonna send my clothes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's perfect.
You can create the scenario in your head of Sans getting the envelope and just like going up to some random monster and being like, "Hey, do you want to go be in Smash for me? Here's a little hat I wore, and what it is Sans brought out his Halloween costume where he went as himself.
It's himself. Yeah. That's why the head is so big. It has to be bigger to fit over like Sans' actual like round skeleton head. That's why the Mii fighter skull is so big. It's perfect. Yeah. Now I just hope this means maybe we'll get Papyrus in for real. I would that's all I want now for Smash. Like not Dante, not Sora, not Doom Guy, none of them. No, fuck you. Put Papyrus in Smash. Put my bone son in, my cool boy.
That would even be better because Papyrus would be like a full-fledged character with
he would be like a for real character,
with like a moveset and like a stage and like a whole bunch of new songs and like legitimate remixes and stuff. And then
perfect.
Sans came first and he has one song and he's a Mii fighter.
Yeah, it's perfect. So, all right, what's next?
The next, well, that's your category next, or you announce it. Yeah.
Next up is Best Indie Side-Scrolling Kickstarter-Fueled Platformer from an already established developer. These titles are stupid. I love them. The nominees are Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, and Indivisible. I vote Bloodstained, just because Bloodstained is so goddamn good.
It's Bloodstained for sure.
Yeah.
Yooka-Laylee is one of the best Donkey Kong Country games I've ever played. Mm-hmm. But the sheer amount of content that's in Bloodstained is impressive. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really, it kind of sucks because 2019 was so packed with, sucks in massive quotation marks. 2019 was so packed for games that Bloodstained kind of toward the end of the year kind of fell to the wayside. In terms of like being in the conversation, and I get that too because a ton of other really great stuff came out toward the end of the year. Again, we just spent way too long talking about Disco Elysium, but like, man, when you think about just like the quality, even with the extremely beleaguered, I still think the Switch port is having a hard time.
No, it's fixed. It's fixed now.
Oh, it's fixed. Okay, good. Hey. So it started with a kind of beleaguered Switch port. And there's still like there's still content coming, right? It's just a little while off.
Yeah, we've got like the all the different playable characters and stuff like that coming. Yeah, that's like I don't think any DLC has come out for it yet.
That's a Kickstarter. That's just a Kickstarter project, baby. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the game did well. It sold well. The game itself is just incredible. It's gorgeous. The music is spot on. Everything about it is basically just like, I mean, it's a Castlevania game in 2019. That's absolutely incredible. It has the correct feel of Castlevania. What more do you want, you know? So I loved it. I loved every second of Bloodstained. So absolutely, Bloodstained gets it. So.
That one for sure.
Next up is best, in absolutely massive quotation marks, best game that came out this year, unfortunately. And the nominees are Anthem, The Division 2, WWE 2K20, and Jump Force. This is honestly the hardest one of them all.
This is hard, but I think in light of recent events...
Yeah, I was going to say.
I have to give it to WWE 2K20.
Yeah, it looks like an N64 game.
Also, it broke.
And it broke.
It don't work no more. You can't play the game no more because it's 2020 now. And Y2K hit.
Y2K happened for real. And I can't believe it.
And it broke the game with the year in its title.
The title is 2020, and you can't play it in the year 2020. It's just this incredible, perfect storm of garbage. Just from start to finish. Like I said, the game looks like an N64 game.
It looks awful. It's fell
broken
apart.
As fuck.
Nothing, like, it's one of those perfect disasters of a game. Like, whatever you want to say, the Division and Jump Force, you can play those. Right, well,
wait. Damn it, I was really hoping I could find... I was really hoping I could find the exact quote about the Division 2 sales. Because, like... As much as WWE 2K20 is bad, and it definitely deserves the award more so than anything else, there was a really specific quote, and I can't find it now, and I really wished I had hunted for it a little bit harder, but one of the lines from Ubisoft about the Division 2 was, "The Division 2 ended up short of our ambitious expectations on console. We believe this was due in large part to a more competitive market than expected." So the game flopped, like, in a truly monumental way. So apparently one of the lines coming out of Ubisoft was that it was a commercial failure, pretty much in every way. Mm-hmm. I just think that is tremendous. You love to hear it, folks. We applaud it. We love to hear Ubisoft fail, especially when it's a game like The Division, which is just, like, the tackiest kind of video game. Like, the kind of bullshit video game that trades in, like, American jingoism, and has just all the hallmarks of being stolen concepts. I mean, it has no original ideas in it whatsoever. So I love hearing that The Division failed. But in terms of, like, raw fuck up, it still has to go to WWE 2K20. Like, yeah.
Remember, there is no commentary in The Division. It's not saying anything.
It's not political at all, even though it's set in Washington, D.C.
Here is the American flag. It's not political.
It's fine.
Meanwhile, here's Disco Elysium that's like, hey, are you a fucking communist?
Do you want to be a fucking communist? Or are you like a weak shit fucking neo-lib centrist? I love it. You actually can get a fucking thought for being a centrist, and it really does just spell out that you truly are the absolute worst of humanity, because you're just like a khaki-wearing weakling who doesn't believe in anything. And it's beautiful. Oh my god, so good.
Are you gonna side with the strike, or are you a fucking scab?
It's so good.
It's so good.
It kicks so much ass.
But no, the Division's not saying anything.
The Division isn't saying anything. God, if I knew more about... can I plug a video real fast?
Yes.
Jacob Geller just put out a video about the politics of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And boy, that's a game full of just, like, you know, of course, developers who are like, the game isn't political. But I mean, like, you're literally doing no-knock raids on, like, vaguely Middle Eastern people's homes. And it's like, I
wonder if this means anything.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. It's an incredible video, but it is also kind of hard to watch. Because you're just like, oh god, right, culture is a nightmare right now, even though video games are pretty good. Just culture in general is just like a fucking horror show. Yeah, so big plug for that. Fuck the Division 2, but WWE 2K20 is absolutely...
But at least you can put in the Division 2 disc and play it.
And it'll actually play a video game. So you can't do that with WWE right now. So then, this is my last one announcing before we'll swap back to you.
Okay.
Best old game we played instead of playing all the new stuff like we should have, because we're bad at this, as it turns out. I apologize. So Fallout 4, The Witcher 3, and Final Fantasy 7. I'm sorry. I just keep playing the same games over and over again forever. It's probably The Witcher 3, just because it is something slightly new, but, you know.
Boy, The Witcher 3 is a really good game.
Turns out this video game has sold, like, 10 million copies and is deeply beloved by everyone. It's actually pretty good.
Turns out literally everyone who said so was right. The Witcher 3's good.
I'm sorry, Roddy. Roddy, one of my friends from the Gaytown server, She has been demanding I play The Witcher 3 for at least 3 years. I'm like, I'll get to it eventually. You know, whatever, it's fine. And then I finally started playing The Witcher 3, and I was like, fuck. She's right.
It's really good.
Idiot. It's really good. Damn it. It's a really good video game, y'all. Boy, you can tell a lot of open world video games cribbed from The Witcher 3, huh?
Yeah, like, boy... There's a lot of familiarity in The Witcher 3 when I'm like, this is a thing from Horizon.
Yeah, that's the one that I was thinking. I was playing that a lot, and I was like, wait a second. Wait just a goddamn minute. Yeah. So, I mean, I still really like Horizon, but it is very, very funny to go back to The Witcher 3. I like Horizon. Actually, technically, I think I still like Horizon a little bit more in terms of just, like, raw playing it. Because I don't really like the combat in The Witcher 3 that much. Maybe it gets better after I've played it a little bit more. Or maybe it's just that I played Devil May Cry 5 this year, and I keep expecting to, like, be able to bust out actual combos, like pause combos and stuff on things. But... like, the combat in The Witcher 3 is not my favorite thing in the world, and I actually liked it a lot more in Horizon, because I feel like I had more, like, options. But I still really like The Witcher 3, just in terms of, like, the writing and the characters. Geralt is a delight. He's my favorite kind of video game hero, where he's like, I don't feel anything, I'm a gruff witcher, but then he's, like, always trying to do the right thing. Like, without fail.
I mentioned this to Melissa where I said, Geralt is a janitor, and every person he meets is vomit in the cafeteria.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny, too, because, like, you know, I did, like, the art freelance thing for a while, and that was a joke that was going around Twitter a lot, was that, like, Geralt is big relatable, because there's a ton of times where it's like, I did this work for you. Money, please. And they're like, oh, Lord Witcher, but this is my last gold. I have nothing to feed my family with. And I'm like, motherfucker, do you know how expensive food is in this video game? Do you know that I need a new pair of pants that will guard my ass slightly better from the horrible beasties trying to chew on it? Give me my money. Right now.
Listen. You're an NPC and you're not named, which means you aren't important, which means your characters will stop existing when I turn away.
Now so give me my money. It's like, I'm sorry, but turns out, even in video games, I can't feed myself with exposure. You know, I just feel like at some point I'm going to complete a quest and some fucking, like grease-jowled hog is going to be like, Lord Witcher, I can give a great recommendation for you to the bards. And I'm like, no, I don't need that. I need the 20 gold you told me you were going to pay me. Give it up.
I'm sorry, sir, but you don't have a unique character model, which means I will stop caring about you immediately.
Gimme, now. So, yeah, that's my feelings. I love The Witcher, man. It's great. I do wish everybody had a Polish accent, but I'm kind of glad they don't because I can't do a Polish accent. So when I make fun of all like the shitty, like stinky peasants in The Witcher, I can just do my best Cockney accent, governor. So I can't do Polish.
Which is entirely accurate how everyone in that game sounds.
It's what everybody in that game sounds like except for fucking Geralt.
Except for Geralt, who sounds like a cowboy.
He's just a dude. He's just a gravel-voiced dude.
Like, he sounds like he's from Red Dead Redemption.
Oh, man, yeah. Oh, man, they also said that, I've been hearing that they want Mark Hamill, or that, like, people want, like, fans want Mark Hamill to play Vesemir in the Netflix TV show. And I'm like, yes! Oh. Make it happen, please! I want that so bad.
That would be great. Know, right? I want Superman and Luke Skywalker to hang out.
Hell yeah, I do. Man, Henry Cavill's fine.
Wait, no, I did that wrong. It's Superman and the Joker hanging out.
Oh, yeah.
That's a bit more appropriate.
That does function a lot better. They're having a whole hell of a lot better time in The Witcher than they would in their respective movie series.
It's true.
Womp womp. All right, next.
The next award is the Best Redemption Arc of the year. And the nominees for this one are Dimitri from Fire Emblem Three Houses, Capcom, and Tetsuya Nomura.
It's a grab bag award, folks. Everybody made themselves look better at the end of the year. But the winner is Capcom.
It's got to be Capcom.
It's Capcom. Capcom has had, like, when you think about the year Capcom has had, it kind of will make your head spin. Because RE2 is GOTY material. Devil May Cry 5 is GOTY material. I haven't played it personally, but everything I've heard from other people is that Monster Hunter Iceborne is GOTY material. And then they announced at the very end of the year, fucking Resident Evil 3 remake is coming out in April. So, what's up, y'all? We're back. Extremely hardcore back.
Plus, you know, considering the news we just got, like, today about,
They're doing something in Devil May Cry 3! What the fuck?
They're doing something. We'll talk about that more at the end of the month when we actually have that information. But they're doing something. They're doing... Something's happening with Devil May Cry 3.
What the fuck are you doing to a 15-year-old video game? Like, sure. I mean, like, I'm excited for it. Absolutely add more content to Devil May Cry 3. That is probably the craziest thing you could do. So I respect it. Absolutely. Yeah, I love it. I think it's insane to be like, yeah, you know, this game came out 15 years ago. And even, like, the special edition for DMC3 came out, like 2 years after DMC3, like, the original version came out. So even, like, all the special edition content is old. So it'd be like, if you add new content to the Switch version of DMC3 this far out, God... GOAT. Greatest of all time. Greatest of, like, the century. I can't believe Capcom is back this hardcore.
And they are showing, like, no signs of stopping. Because even, like, apparently, like, Teppen's really good. People like Teppen. It's, you know, the only thing is that their fighting game division is lagging. And I was telling somebody, I think it's equivalent exchange. Capcom fighting games are bad, everything else is good. So I'm okay with it, honestly. Like, now they can really secure themselves if they make Final Fight 4 or Mega Man X10.
Or Power Stone 3.
Power Stone. Bring back any of your old franchises.
God, please. Itsuno himself has said he wants to make a Power Stone. I'm like, yes!
Make a new Dino Crisis.
Oh my god, please.
Smash the RE engine with Dino Crisis 2 and make, like, a really action-y arcade shooter with the RE engine.
Oh, then we would come full circle. We would have everything we would need to just declare Capcom the winner of video games, just in general. Because, like, we have DMC, we've got Resident Evil, we've got Monster Hunter, Mega Man came back. I don't actually know how good Mega Man 11 was.
It's pretty good. People like it.
Okay, that's good. So Mega Man came back and was good. We're just chugging on all cylinders, baby. So let's keep that ball rolling and make Dino Crisis, please. God, I would love Dino Crisis to come back. That would just be the best. please. So, I think you're next still. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'll take this one. This is the best Where's My Goddamn DLC of the year. And the games that are sorely lacking in DLC are Katana Zero, Kingdom Hearts 3, and Devil May Cry 5.
See, this is proof that we made this list a few weeks ago, because between then and now, Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC did get announced, so it can't win this award by default. But we still had to nominate it because, it took a while. So it's between Katana Zero and Devil May Cry 5, and I honestly don't know which one. I think I want Katana Zero's DLC more, actually.
I'm going to give it to Katana Zero because DMC5 technically did get DLC already.
It did get DLC, and the thing about DMC5 is that even though it doesn't have Virgil DLC, and that is a terrible mistake on DMC5's part, DMC5 is still a complete video game. Like, after Bloody Palace dropped a month after the game came out, DMC5 is a complete video game. It has 3 playable characters, it has Bloody Palace, there's a ton of shit going on in that game. That is a whole ass video game, my friends, and you don't actually need to buy any DLC to have this complete video game, which owns, because that's really rare these days. We were just talking about how Death Stranding feels incomplete. You don't have that problem with Devil May Cry 5. Katana Zero literally ends on a cliffhanger, and I need to know what happens next.
It's a to be continued, and we have heard nothing from that studio since.
That's what they actually did suggest a few, 2-ish months ago that they're working on something. So it's like, okay, something's coming, but still, I'm dying. I need it because I love Katana Zero, a lot.
It's really, really good.
It's really, really good. And it ended on such a cliffhanger, just the incredible cliffhanger to just be like, oh, game's over. It's like, no, it just got started. What are you talking about?
Go back.
No. Katana Zero really does have an incredible ending point where it's just where you really feel like the game is really getting going, and you've kind of come into your own. You understand all the mechanics, so now you're like, there's got to be at least 2 more levels after. No, it's over.
Done.
It's done. Have fun. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks. I can only play as 15 for 15 minutes. That's cool. Thanks, guys. I'm dying. Where is the DLC?
Please continue, please.
I'm taking this one.
Okay, yes. This is for you, yeah.
This is specifically for me. There's 2 awards on here that are specifically for me, because I'm an idiot. So, hottest dad of the year. Because we had a strange influx of many, many dads this year. And it's either Virgil, Geralt, not Geralt, and we probably could have put Geralt on this list now that I think about it, but Geralt. The one from Fire Emblem, that is. Mads Mikkelsen, I don't know what his character is. And Max Howard. Wait, who's Max Howard?
From Astral Chain.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was thinking for a second, I was like, are we talking about Geese? Is that Geese Howard's actual name? I guess Geese Howard is kind of a hot dad, but,
technically, we probably could have put Terry on this list, too, because he's Rock's real dad.
That's true, yeah. So we'll Terry's also on this list.
Yeah.
It's fine. The answer is Virgil, of course. But, mean, it's fine. There was just a lot of hot dads this year. And, I don't actually... What is Mads Mikkelsen's character in Death Stranding? His name is, Clint or something, right?
Cliff.
Cliff.
Yeah.
Cliff. It's a weird name to give a man who is so blatantly Eastern European as Mads Mikkelsen.
I mean, it's Clifford.
Yeah, but still, I don't know. Shut up. I'm just it's such a strange, but there are parts of Death Stranding. I could almost give this to Mads Mikkelsen because he truly is just a sight to behold.
Did you see the tweet that Kojima put out today?
No.
Where he's because you've at least gotten in Death Stranding to the point where you've done a flashback sequence, right?
Yeah, of course.
You're in the World War I.
Oh no, I haven't done that one yet.
Okay, well when you get dropped into the trailer content,
yeah,
where you actually confront Cliff,
yes,
he had a tweet. Hideo Kojima put out a tweet that's we put out these. If you're not familiar with Mads Mikkelsen, the weird grunting and breathing you can hear is meant to elicit fear in the player.
Yeah, okay, Kojima.
But if you are familiar with Mads Mikkelsen, then it elicits a different emotion.
Oh my god, Kojima's in love.
So Kojima literally said, "We'll mark you down as scared or horny."
That's it. That's the only two emotions that Mads Mikkelsen can elicit in a human. And, I mean, you know, I watched Hannibal. Sometimes it's both at the same time. It's fine.
There was like when the game came out, I saw a tweet that was like, yeah, I work in GameStop, and you'd be surprised the number of like housewives that are coming in to sneakily buy Death Stranding because they know Mads Mikkelsen is in it.
It's Mads Mikkelsen and Norman Reedus, you know? They're both hot in their own strange, goblinly ways. But, you know, like, you know, Virgil's Virgil, man.
Virgil's Virgil, and he came back in a big way.
He came back in a big, sexy way, and it was awesome the entire time. Literally every moment Virgil is on screen in DMC5, it's just like, I can't believe you aren't dead. I'm so happy that you're alive, and your face is this beautiful, and you have a new outfit after 20 years.
And it looks really cool.
It looks really cool. You're in all black. Turns out you've got an inner goth, and that just makes me like you more. You know? And I mean, like, his face is literally, like, all of the faces in DMC5 are literally, like, models. So, you know. It is funny, though, because there was that thing that apparently some AI determined, like, the most attractive faces in video games. And the winner actually was Dante in DMC5. And I was like, that sounds about right. Sure, that's fine. So yeah.
Virgil is such a hot dad that it doesn't even matter we had the same boss fight twice.
Nobody cares. It's fine. The second boss fight is for clowning on your extremely hot dad. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Are you up?
Yeah, I'll take this one.
Sure. It's not very organized. It's fine.
This is the best port that we finally got.
This is a really interesting list.
The nominees for this one are The Witcher 3 or The Switcher.
Oh, The Switcher. Yeah.
The fact that they did not call it the Switcher edition is like a little disheartening, but because it's like right there.
But they call it that. I think they call it that on their Twitter.
That's great. Awesome. The Witcher 3, Metal Wolf Chaos XD.
Yes.
And Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition.
Oh, God. See, in my heart, because this podcast was founded on the fact that we just want to talk for 18 hours about Tales of Vesperia, like, in my heart, I want to say it's Tales of Vesperia. But we have a problem, Ben. The problem is that they didn't get Troy Baker again.
They did not, and Metal Wolf Chaos is a painstakingly, like, feat of passion to bring this game to the West.
Mm-hmm. I almost say, I think it's Metal Wolf Chaos.
I think I have to give the slight edge to Metal Wolf Chaos on a much more, like, universal scale.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get Metal Wolf Chaos at all.
No.
We got a version of Tales of Vesperia.
And honestly, like, the voice acting thing is so jarring because even when Tales of Vesperia was like one of Troy Baker's first roles, Troy Baker is an extremely good voice actor, and so is Grant George, but he's not as good as Troy Baker.
You know what? I'll give Vesperia this, and I'll probably talk about this more when both of us actually finish the definitive edition.
Oh, God, what am I gonna do? I have too many fucking video games.
I looked at my shelf the other day and I'm like, oh fuck, that's right, I bought Tales of Vesperia.
Well, I bought it, so at least they'll keep putting out Tales games, so it's fine.
But I'm like, I'll give it this. Grant George and whoever voices Judith now, they do their part to sound like Troy Baker and like the other. Like, Grant George is trying his best to mimic Troy Baker's acting in that game.
And I mean, he does sound good.
There's a few times when you're like, I can't tell who that one is. And then, but like, it's obvious sometimes, but sometimes you're like, that line, I'm not sure. I can
pick it out no matter what, but
the one that gets me is that they didn't even try for LeBlanc.
Oh, and boy. No, they did not.
And that really annoys me because LeBlanc's original voice is really, really good.
Well, it's Liam O'Brien.
And I mean... Yeah. Do I mean LeBlanc? No, LeBlanc is still Liam O'Brien. I'm not. No, I mean.
I'm thinking of Q Moore.
Okay, yeah, you're thinking of Q Moore. I'm talking about the Schwann Brigade.
Yes, you're right. Absolutely. I was thinking of Q Moore. It's all the nights sometimes blend together.
Yeah, no, Q Moore is still Liam O'Brien.
Yes, it is actually.
Yeah.
LeBlanc is Schwann Brigade captain. Boy, I'm just showing my ass. It's been a while since I played Vesperia, y'all.
It's all right because I also was like, wait, do I really mean LeBlanc? Like, am I the one who's wrong?
Am I wrong? No, they didn't try to get LeBlanc right at all.
Which is a shame because like LeBlanc's English voice is really, really good because it's very gruff and serious for a cartoony character.
Yes.
And it makes him stand out and it makes him a bit more sympathetic because he's doing his part.
He's doing the best he can, and you always get the sense that like he's like a good guy.
He's Zenigata, and you respect Zenigata.
We do. We respect Zenigata.
So when the new voice gives him this like big dumb oafish voice, and you're like, no, you didn't even fucking try.
Oh, the other one that's like that that's really, really grating to me, Dawn Whitehorse.
Yeah, Dawn's is really bad.
It's so bad. Like, again, you did not even make the effort to impersonate his, like, general vibe.
There's like a million gruff old guy voice actors out there. You could have gotten anyone. Someone to at least try.
God, even try to, like, kind of imitate his energy, but they don't even try to do that. So it's just completely different voices coming out of the same character. I mean, like, that's the problem with the Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. I mean, I guess I could play the Japanese version, and I mean, I might honestly, like, go back and switch it over to Japanese so it won't be so jarring, because, like, all the Japanese voices are fine, except for, like, a handful. They're really, really grating. Because Tales games especially like to really lean on that one character, especially Patty. Oh, God. Patty is insufferable even in English. That's the other thing, is that I'm detracting points from Vesperia because Patty is in it. Am I allowed to do that? Because
I think
Patty
you're allowed
is
to do
insufferable.
that.
Patty sucks. I can't stand her. I don't like this character at all. And I mean, like, you know, it's standard fare for, like, Japanese properties to put out a new thing and just add a new girl. Look at Persona, which loves adding new girls. And, like, you know, all of the fucking, like, One Piece movies, they're guilty of it. It's just across the board. Fucking Dragon Ball did it this time.
They did, yeah.
They did. You know, like, everybody loves to add a new girl. That's the thing, is let's add this new girl. Patty is the worst possible version of the new girl. So, I can't stand her. I don't like this character. I don't like that she keeps sticking her nose in the main plot when, like, things are kind of flowing, like, at a reasonable pace. Suddenly it's like, hey, let's stop the game to, like, focus on Patty. And I'm like, no, I don't like it, y'all. I don't like it. So I'm giving it to Metal Wolf Chaos out of spite.
Metal Wolf Chaos definitely deserves it. Because
I don't like this little girl character.
That's just, we finally got the game we should have gotten all along.
We had a perfectly good kid character in Carol, by the way.
Yeah.
And then they stuck Patty in. I'm done now.
The point is, go buy Metal Wolf Chaos XD.
Yeah, or
It's a
the
good
Switcher.
game.
The Switcher feels like magic. I do think that, like, I saw a comparison video and woof. But I mean, if you're playing it on handheld mode, man, you can't go wrong to just have, like, The Witcher 3 in your purse. That's a lot of video game just crammed into, like, a little box this big, you know?
It's,
So, like,
yeah, like...
I say give it a shot. I saw a video of it. I mean, it doesn't look great. You wouldn't put it on your TV, though. You would put it in handheld mode, and you wouldn't notice the difference, you know? So, it's fine. Anything but, you know, it's fine. Is it my turn?
Yeah, you can take the next two, actually.
I love this. I love these two. These are two really good ones. So, the award for Best Little Creature, because we got a bunch of wonderful little creatures this year. Specifically, Baba from Baba Is You, the Goose from Untitled Goose Game, and Sothis from Fire Emblem Three Houses, who is a little creature, and I love her. But the winner is the Goose.
It's the Goose, and it is the Goose because he stole the award. So we have to, by default, give it to him.
Yeah,
and
the Goose just walked out of my house holding the award. So,
I'm seeing now, he has tossed it into a lake. Okay, yep.
Thanks.
And we can't retrieve it because lake is defeat.
Like, yeah, there you go. I love this goose. And, oh, go ahead.
And we don't have any units that can cross water. So, the pirate class is not in Three Houses, so...
Oh, boo,
the only one who can take it now is the goose.
So the goose, unfortunately, owns the award. But we love the goose, so it's fine. The goose has captured everyone's hearts and souls. We all love the goose. We love seeing the goose. The goose has captivated the audience at AGDQ this year. Yep. Because in a few days, they will be speedrunning Untitled Goose Game at AGDQ, which I am excited for, and everybody should tune in and donate during, because I think it will be a delight. I love Untitled Goose Game, man. I played it, and it's just fun. It's pure comedy. It is a lot like, we were talking about this on the episode about Baba Is You. The Goose Game does such a good job of making it funny, of like actually doing correct comedy in video games just by the incredible absurdity of the situations of this video game. I love it.
There's this weird sense of realism in Untitled Goose Game where no one is actively pursuing you.
Right.
Like, no, you are not like being actively targeted as an enemy. Mm-hmm. Everyone reacts to your presence in the same way, which is quietly dismissing you and trying to get you out of their hair because you're a dumb animal and you're not doing anything like on purpose. You are just being a nuisance and a trouble. And you can take the farmer's hat as many times as you want and he'll shoo you away and go pick it up out of the lake. And then he'll resume his business because it's just a goose.
It's just a goose. You're not going to get that mad at the goose, you know? And the goose is good because the goose lets you embrace your inner bastard. Like, a lot of people don't really like being mean in video games. I'm like, kind of one of those people. I don't really like being mean even to NPCs. But, like, the goose is just like, I am a goose. And geese are horrible.
They have the button that just flaps the goose's wings, and it's the best button because it has no practical like function.
Yeah.
It's you only use it for one objective very late in the game. Mm-hmm. And beyond that, it's just your taunt button. And you open your wings and you strut around and you feel like such a bastard. And
you honk. I think the dedicated honk button is one of the greatest inventions in video games. Nothing has ever made me feel more empowered than being able to aggressively and indignantly honk at villagers. Anytime they wrong me, I can just like run circles around them and go honk, 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 and just be angry that they have wronged me. And usually it gets a reaction. Usually they're just like, oh my god, I can't believe this horrible creature is honking at me. And I'm like, that's right, I'm a goose. I hate you. I hate everyone. And I'm going to honk at the world. I'm going to stand atop a mountain and honk. I love it. I think the most aggressive most angry I ever got was when one of the painter puzzle, like the dude who's smoking his pipe and reading the news, he's next to the painter lady. They're like next door neighbors. When I got caught by that guy and he took my fucking bow, I've never been more angry in my entire life than when I was stripped of my bow in Untitled Goose Game.
That bastard.
I spent a good solid 2 minutes on stream just honking angrily at this man who's trying to drink some coffee and read the news. And I'm like, no, you don't get to sleep. I shall honk because you took my handsome bow. I love the goose. I want a goose toy. I want the goose socks that are in the Untitled Goose Game store. They have socks that turn your toes into the goose's beak, and I love it. Yeah, we love the goose, folks. You love to see it.
We do.
You're making me read this one?
Of course. Well, it's yours.
It is mine. The Toru Adachi Award for Best Terrible Asshole that Sara loves for some goddamn reason. Awarding those characters in video games that nobody should like, and yet here we are. So it's Dante from Devil May Cry 5, who is a bastard. We'll get to that in a minute. Dante from DMC5, Higgs from Death Stranding, because he's just like, Higgs. And Dimitri from Fire Emblem Three Houses. I love all of these. I can't that's wrong. I can pick Dante very easily. Dante easily became one of my favorite video game characters, maybe ever, this year, because, like, I've always liked Devil May Cry, of course, and Dante is the main character of Devil May Cry. And I've always liked him, but I'm like, yeah, but, like, Virgil is so cool, right? But this year, Capcom did something revolutionary, and that is, they dunked that boy in grease and told me he smells bad and is a horrible person who has no control over his impulses and really doesn't have a lot of control over his life. And I went, oh, I think you're my favorite character in Devil May Cry now.
Just like that, huh? That was just that easy.
It was just that easy. He's smelly. His hair got long. He's got a beard now. He actually has visible chest hair. And I'm just like, yeah. All right. Coated from head to toe in grease. Absolutely. Probably smells like, the inside of a garbage can. Might have dug around in that garbage can for a slice of pizza. And I'm just like, I guess I love you. Okay.
I guess this is where I'm at right now.
This is where I am in my life right now, where I'm just like, you probably stink and look kind of homeless, and I love you. I do. I love him. He is bad in DMC5, but like in a fun way. Just like bad. He just does, like, he makes poor choices and sucks. And I love him. So, that's who wins it for the best terrible asshole that Sara loves for some goddamn reason. Because I think he's great. I mean, the other two are really good too, and I probably could talk for a while about Dimitri, but I'm just really feeling the love tonight for this smelly bastard in a greasy red coat who spent literally a month sleeping. And, it needs to be stated, Dante probably hasn't showered for an entire month in DMC5 after the time skip, and I'm like, I love you!
The thing is that Dante looks like that, but I think he wins it at the end because none of the characters comment on it. Whereas, like, everyone realizes in game that Dimitri is feral and needs help.
Right.
But no one looks at Dante and is like, that's bad.
That's bad. Until you get to the end of the video game where Nero, like, literally slaps the teeth out of his head. Thank God. I love it. I think it's great. It is the perfect development for this character who in, like, DMC4 is, like, cool and stupid, but doesn't really have much else going on behind his. He's, like, big himbo energy in DMC4, where he's really cool and extremely thick. But also very, very stupid and really is not terribly effective. I mean, he does cool things, but, there's a difference. So it's like, there's not a lot going on in Dante's head. I can actually hear the moths fluttering around in there. And then in DMC5, they're like, yeah, what if all of that was, like, actually, like, a bad thing? And I was like, yeah.
Nico meets her hero in Devil May Cry 5 when he is at his physical worst. And she
loves it.
She is, like, complete fangirling.
Loves it. That's me. I'm Nico.
It would be like running into Ruben Langdon while he's getting his breakfast at the Hotel Continental breakfast, and he's in, like, his pajamas, and it's like 6 a.m. and he's kind of hungover from the night before.
Yeah, that's me. I'm Nico. I felt that mood too. I also love Nico because she also is covered from head to toe in grease, but it's like motor oil instead. But yeah, Nico is also one of my favorite characters from 2019. Just to, like, throw that out there as well. So I'm loving this development with the RE engine, where it's like everybody is filthy all of the time, the way they should be, and I'm like, this is great.
They're like, Capcom's like, we developed an engine that makes people look like shit.
Everybody's super hot, but you can actually smell them through their screen.
Like,
do you love it? And everybody's like, I think I do.
Like, we've seen those redesigns for Jill and Carlos, and we're like, yeah, they look tired.
We love Carlos's hair on this podcast, okay? We respect Carlos's new fucking look where he looks bad. It's great.
It's perfect. All right.
This is you.
Yes, we have the Boomer Award for Nostalgic Excellence. And I've got it right here to encapsulate the Boomer Award.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Ugh.
Now that was a video game.
Man, I can't believe you actually drank that fucking thing.
This is not bad, actually. I do have the white Zero Ultra monster.
Oh, that's so gross. You might as well just go drink out of, like, a nuclear power plant sewage drainage. You know?
This tastes what I imagine. Like, if you mixed this and Coke, you would have Nuka-Cola.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm imagining
that actually does make sense.
Like, this is probably, like, the exact, like, 1 part Monster, 2 parts Coke, and you have Nuka-Cola.
But see, I just said those things taste like nuclear waste. So that is Nuka-Cola right there, baby. So, yeah, that's true. Anyways.
The nominees are Resident Evil 2, Bloodstained, and Amid Evil.
God, all of these are boomer-tastic. Every single one of these video games was played by boomers back when they came out in the 90s.
I'm going to give it to Amid Evil.
Me too.
For this one, because Resident Evil 2 Remake and Bloodstained are bringing their respective genres to their apex.
Yeah.
Using a lot of modern sensibilities. Whereas Amid Evil is just pure, this is what the games were like back in the day. Like, this is how it feels. You mentioned on that episode when I talked about, like, the way you use cheats in that game.
Oh, yeah.
It's, like, Amid Evil just fucking crushes the whole aesthetic, the feel, everything about those old shooters.
If fucking, I don't actually know what its new name is called, but Ion Maiden, if those developers had not been absolute human garbage, then it would have been on this list. But they are, and you should pirate their video game. I shouldn't advocate for it that strong, but you should, because the developers of Ion Maiden suck. But that being said, Amid Evil is a legitimately good video game made by people who don't suck, like we learned at AGDQ last night. Dave Oshry went on a family-friendly stream and just dropped the F-bomb like 20 times.
That one is definitely one of those, like, they don't really know what AGDQ is about.
They don't. They don't. They literally were just like, yeah, we'll get on a call and watch you play Amid Evil. That sounds like fun. Someone's
like, hey, do you want to come get on this Discord call and, like, you know, we're going to do, like, a live show of, like, a speed run? They're like, okay, sure.
Yeah, sure.
And it's like, oh, you can't swear at AGDQ. I'm sorry.
Dave Oshry is now banned forever from AGDQ, which is awesome. Amid Evil is the perfect encapsulation of the boomer shooter. Maybe more so than Dusk, even though I like Dusk more. Amid Evil has, like, the incredible aesthetics and vibe and excellent weapons. I love Amid Evil. I think it's great. It totally deserves this award. So, yeah.
Absolutely. That is like boomer central.
It is. They call it a boomer shooter for a reason, y'all. Because it's good. Because boomer shooters kick ass. So. Oh god, Ben, this list is so long. What the fuck?
This is for me. I'll take this one for you.
Oh my god.
Our final award for the evening is not actually an award. It's just a list of notable games that came out this year. Just to give you an idea of what 2019 was like for video games.
Oh god.
So here's just the list. Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Onimusha Warlords. Ace Combat 7, Skies Unknown. Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes. Resident Evil 2 Remake. Kingdom Hearts 3. God Eater 3. Civilization 6 Gathering Storm. Crackdown 3. Far Cry New Dawn.
You're gonna have to read this list faster. This is insane.
Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. Deltarune. Dead or Alive 6. Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. Devil May Cry 5.
Going?
Baba Is You. The Sinking City. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Shovel Knight Showdown. Mortal Kombat 11. Days Gone.
Entire page.
Outer Wilds, Super Meat Boy Forever, Katana Zero, Sonic Team Racing, Rage 2, Cadence of Hyrule, Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, My Friend Pedro, Crash Team Racing, Nitro Fueled, Super Mario Maker 2, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Dragon Quest Builders 2, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, Kill la Kill, Wolfenstein Youngblood, Control, Shenmue 3, Astral Chain, River City Girls, Daemon X Machina, Sayonara Wild Hearts, Untitled Goose Game, Link's Awakening Remake,
games.
Indivisible, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, Concrete Genie, John Wick Hex, Disco Elysium,
sucked, by the way.
Medieval, The Outer Worlds, After Party, Luigi's Mansion 3, Star Wars Jedi, Fallen Order, Death Stranding, Pokemon Sword and Shield, and Wattam.
Yeah.
There were a lot of games that came out this year, and that's not even the full list. That's just the ones I thought were notable.
I think this is absurd. This is such a good list because like we had a lot of people this year complaining about there not being enough good video games. And because people's brains are melted and they only pay attention to like the AAA sphere and they only pay attention to Metacritic, which is not a good indicator of a video game's quality. Because like video games that back in the day reviewed poorly are now considered extremely good. Look at fucking God Hand. You know, like going off, if you are basing your opinion on like a year's quality of game releases on what's said on Metacritic, your brain is broken beyond repair, and you need to like interact with video games in a more meaningful way other than their like fucking review aggregate score. And like to me it's such an indicator of just like, again, total cultural sickness, not to get too like grim for a second, but really like there is so much good shit going on in, I mean, we're gonna do our top 5 games of the year list after this. Mm-hmm. And there's so much good shit going on outside of the AAA sphere. You do not, if you don't want to ever have to interact with the AAA like section of video games, and you could have probably a way better year than people who do. Like realistically, if you wanted to play indie games for an entire year and that's it, you would never run out of quality stuff to play. There has been so much good stuff made just by indie creators that you don't even realize, if you're only interacting through like the Metacritic and you're only interacting through the AAA section of video games, the degree of good content you are missing. It's like saying that movies these days are bad. Yeah, movies these days are bad. It's mostly Disney joints. So go find indie movies on like fucking Netflix and like all kinds of indie distributors, and you will find so many good fucking movies, just like you will find so many good fucking video games.
Like, and you get these people who like very clearly don't actually interact with the thing they're trying to critique, because I've had so many people talk about like, how can you put Resident Evil 2 on your list? It's just the same game with a fresh coat of paint. Like,
no, it isn't.
Fucking like way to just completely expose yourself as not actually participating in this like medium.
Yeah. Because
if you can look at RE2 and look at its remake and think it's just like a fresh coat of paint, you're insane.
You're insane. You have no ability to actually interact with the video games that you claim you're playing. And frankly, if you think that, I don't actually think you've played that game.
Like, and like, you know? This list here is all stuff like a lot of it I haven't even played. A lot of it I personally have no interest in. But I know that like there is literally something for everyone on here. If you like RPGs, if you like fighting games, if you like variants of fighting games, you know, anything, you can find something you'll like on this list alone.
I can see like Sekiro and Control and River City Girl. These are games that I like wanted to play, but just didn't have the time. Like, I actually really do want to play Control. I just haven't had the time. That's why it's not on any of like our Game of the Year lists. Even though I think it has a lot of really striking like visual design and stuff. Like Control is a good video game. Sekiro is a good video game. There's so many options. And it's like, man, there is something out there for you, and it's insane to there's more than one something. There's multiple somethings. And I just think, like that was a thing I was hearing a lot from a lot of people, like, on Reddit and stuff. It's just like, no, this was a great year. What are you talking about? Don't expose yourself that aggressively. If you're going to be that ignorant, keep it to yourself.
Right? Like, yeah, no, like, there's a definite difference between this year and 2018.
Oh, God, like, 2018 was a wasteland.
There's, like, a breadth of more content in this year than there was last year. Like, we joked a lot in the beginning of the year where it's like, you know, January and March were fucking amazing, that the rest of the year could just coast. And it could have, but it didn't.
No, it kept putting out good shit. I mean, there's so much quality. Even, like, you know, the old idea of, like, the summer games drought used to be a thing, and it's dead now, for fucking sure. It basically did not, I think, like, what, July was the only no, because that was when Three Houses came out.
Yeah.
So, no, it never slowed up. There was not a single month this year, I think, where either, like, something came out at the end of the month, like the previous month, so you were playing it all through, like, the slow month, or good shit came out that month. Like, it just kept on coming. It kicks ass, but it just kept coming. So, yeah, 2019 was a great year for video games. 2020 might be better. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how all the big releases and the PS5 and Xbox Series X. Fuck, such a stupid name for a console.
The Xbox sex.
The sex.
They tried their hardest.
Do you know it's technically just supposed to be called the Xbox?
I hate Microsoft so much.
I hate them so much.
This is the third time.
So much.
This is the third time they've tried to call their console the Xbox.
I know. It's bad, right? It's really bad. Series X is just supposed to, like, indicate, like, there'll be different series, like Series 1 and Series 2 and stuff. No, it's supposed to be called the Xbox.
Like, I think I've said this before. I think I said it during the Game Awards, but, like, there's only one console that they've actually managed to get people to call the Xbox, and it's not even the one they tried. It's the 360. The 360 was Xbox.
Yeah, because it was actually, like, the one everybody bought.
Yeah. The first Xbox was the original Xbox, and the 360 was Xbox.
And then this one is the Xbone, and now the Xbox Sex.
Like, you can't get us to call it that because we need to differentiate the names. That's why Sony was smart. The number.
Just number. It's just a number. They showed the PS5 logo today, and guess what? It looks like every other PlayStation logo ever. It's like, boy, that is definitely a PlayStation logo. Thanks, guys. So
they don't have to get creative or, like, try to come up with some cool code name for it. It's 5. It's the fifth
PS5.
one.
Nobody sits around and wonders, man, what's the next PlayStation going to be called? It's going to be called the PlayStation 6, guys. Spoiler alert, for 2027, it's going to be called the PS6. That's it.
And that's going to be the first one that's actually kind of hard to say.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're right. PS6 does kind of suck to say, doesn't it?
It doesn't flow naturally out of the mouth.
PlayStation 6. Yeah, it isn't very natural, huh? Oh well, we have years before we have to worry about that problem, God willing. Anyways, hey, let's close out the night with our top 5 games of the year.
Yes.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure, I'll go first.
Cool.
So my number 5 is...
Oh, actually, instead, let's just go back and forth.
Okay,
number 5, yeah.
Sure. My number 5 is actually Devil May Cry 5.
Oh, wow, okay.
Because a lot of shit came out after that game.
A lot of shit came out after DMC5. That makes sense.
But it's still on here because it has become, like, the definitive action game now.
Yeah.
The addition of Bloody Palace and all that, it's just like... Boy, I liked playing as Nero in 4, and I really, really like playing as Nero in 5.
He's way better in 5. Basically, everything about 5 is just 4, but better. Just improved in every way. So yeah, I figure we'll just go down this one kind of quick and then maybe, like, hash it out as we go.
Yeah.
Number 5 for me is Bloodstained Curse of the Moon.
Nice.
I love Bloodstained. I was thinking about it when I was making this list. Curse of the Moon is the one that came out this year, right?
No, Ritual of the Night came out this year.
Ritual of the Night.
I had to double check that myself.
Because I just had a moment where I was like, wait, no, that sounds wrong, actually.
It's weird because Ritual of the Night is the one that has the moon as a thing that you interact with.
That's exactly why I was thinking that, because the moon is an actual thing you can attack in Bloodstained. Ritual of the Night makes no sense. It's fine. I really enjoyed Bloodstained when I was making this list. I was like thinking about it. I was like, I actually really, really liked playing Bloodstained. Bloodstained kind of made me realize, like, oh, I could probably, and I still, like, hopefully I'll have some time this year to do it. We'll see. I would like to go back now and play old Castlevanias, because I've never played a Castlevania before, and Bloodstained made me realize, like, oh, hey, I think I really like this genre. So hopefully sometime this year, when things slow down, God willing, maybe I'll, like, pick up Symphony of the Night and stuff. But yeah, Bloodstained opened my eyes to a whole new genre, kind of the way that Dusk did when I played it. So I really like Bloodstained.
My number 4 is Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It is, like, I don't think I've ever, like, sat through and put 80 hours into a game and been as this dedicated from start to finish.
Right.
As I was for 3 Houses.
Oh, yeah, I think I easily put like 100 and something hours into Fire Emblem at the end of it all.
I'm excited for the last batch of DLC to come out so that I can actually go and finish my Golden Deer route.
Right.
With all of the additional content in it so that it actually feels a little fresher before I hit the time skip.
Right. Yeah, that's the only rough part.
But that first playthrough with the Blue Lions was phenomenal. All these characters are great. And the game feels great. All the quality of life improvements in 3 Houses are amazing. And I hope that this is the new standard for Fire Emblem. Like we said in the episode, I just hope they clean up the parts they needed to clean up.
Right. My number 4 is Baba Is You. I feel like we're going to have some very different lists.
I think so, too.
I'm excited for this. Number 4 is Baba Is You. I love Baba. I love its music. I love its aesthetic. I love the, like, fucking mind bender that this game puts you on. And I love, after the episode came out, we have a Discord, by the way, and a lot of people in our Discord were like, oh, well, I tried out Baba Is You, and I feel like my brain is breaking after playing it. And I'm like, good, that's the way it should be. I love Baba Is You. I think it's clever and fun and smart, and it's such a cool approach to puzzle gaming in general, and just feels so unique and so innovative. And yeah, I just really, really like Baba. I want to go back to it at some point, but again, you know how it is. So I'm huge recommend for Baba Is You. I'm really glad at the end of the year we decided to play it. Yeah, so that's it for me.
My number 3 is Outer Wilds.
Okay.
Much in the same way that you are with Baba Is You. The mind bender that Outer Wilds put me on. The aesthetic, the exploration of that game is like nothing I've ever seen. It gave me the I talked last year a lot about how fucking great Return of the Obra Dinn is. I still think it's a phenomenal indie game. It is definitely one of my favorite indie games we've ever done for this podcast. The Outer Wilds blows by it so easily.
Oh yeah.
In terms of just like letting you piece everything together yourself. Absolutely stellar game, and I'm very sorry that I keep talking about how great it is because you can't play it.
I'm gonna try the anti-nausal medicine this year to give it a shot, because I mean, like, again, it's another indie game that's been getting a lot of just chatter and talk, and I want to give it a shot. Everything I've heard about it, I just think sounds really impressive. It sounds beautiful. It sounds just moving and just so expertly crafted about being this little story about, like, loss and your place in the universe and all that good stuff. Things that I think are really interesting in video games. But I can't personally play it right now until I try out a couple different methods because it makes me want to throw up. So, yeah, they did a really good job of simulating space. Maybe a little too good of a job. So, yeah. My number 3 is a medieval. I love me a boomer shooter. Dusk is one of my favorite video games. And a medieval just kind of keeps it going. I would rank Dusk over a medieval, but I still really enjoyed a medieval. I love Andrew Holschult's music. I love the aesthetic. I think the game is just goddamn beautiful. I think like the last level with the floors coming out from under you as you walk is just excellent.
Oh, that's the primo shit right there.
Primo shit. I actually think the bosses in a medieval are way better than the bosses in Dusk, which helps propel that game forward to keep pace with Dusk. Even though I like Dusk's aesthetic a little bit more, there's a lot of stuff going on. I think a medieval has some of the coolest, most unique weapon designs ever. It has a goddamn rocket launcher that shoots planets, and one of those planets can be Earth. That's cool, y'all. The game is cool. Everything about it is cool. It gets your blood pumping. And like I said, the soundtrack is amazing. Andrea Holschult is a god. He is scoring all of the boomer shooters out these days, and it's good. So yeah, that's my number 3 is a medieval.
My number 2 is Resident Evil 2 Remake.
You have a completely different list. Cool.
Anyone who's listened to this podcast before probably knows I cannot shut the fuck up about how good Resident Evil 2 is.
It's good as hell.
I've beaten it how many times now? I did Leon A.
Oh, you did it on stream
Twice by myself. I did everything once by myself, and then I did Leon A again by myself, and then I did Leon A and Claire B on stream. And every time, it's still fucking good. They've done it perfectly where you've gone from the first run, which is your scary, tense, gripping run, where you are trying to map out everything on your own, to get through it as fast as you can. Mm-hmm. And it feels balanced both ways.
Yeah.
Just a phenomenally put together game. I am so fucking excited for Resident Evil 3. I cannot wait to see what they do with that to expand on this. Mm-hmm. It's just jaw-dropping in how good this fucking game is. I could not be more pleased with this game, considering I came in with very little Resident Evil experience.
Right.
I did the bad thing where I played the really, really good one first. And now it's I have to go back and I have to go back and fucking play 6? Are you kidding?
We gotta do 6 on stream though, because it's a co-op game and it would be fun even though it sucks.
We do have to do 6 sometimes. That would be hilarious.
Oh my god, yes. We'll do eventually. Someday we'll make time for it. So my number 2 is Katana Zero. I knew this list would be completely fucking different, but I did not expect it to be this fucking different.
I was like, I'm gonna get at least 2 matches.
Nope.
And nope, we did not.
Completely different lists. Katana Zero is a game that lights a spark in my soul the way, I think at the beginning of this year, we talked about our top 5 favorite games and how that kind of changes over the years. And I mentioned this in this past January 2019, I mentioned that DMC1 was the first video game that made me realize that there is joy in playing a game well, right? Mm-hmm. Katana Zero is the first time I ever really felt there is joy in playing a game fast. I have beaten Katana Zero at this point 4 times. Back when I was my brother, I don't have a Switch, I just borrow it from my brother, but for a long period of time he let me borrow the Switch. I would literally sit around and just play Katana Zero. Katana Zero made me realize the joys that speedrunners feel, where you just sit around and grind a video game out. Either Dusk or Katana Zero will be games I would like to learn the routes for, to speedrun them. Probably Katana Zero more so than anything, because I just really enjoy playing this game. I think the music is incredible. Just going back to that for a second, the music is phenomenal. There are so many stellar tracks. The pixel art is gorgeous. The act of just playing it just is so quick and responsive and fast, and you're just, bam, bam, bam. It is the purest expression of a Devolver Digital game in every way. I really, really like Katana Zero a lot. I like the plot, even though it's kind of skimpy. I think it's one of my favorite kinds of plots, where it's I get not skimpy, but it just feels like unfinished, which is probably the only problem with it. But even though I think the plot of Katana Zero is unfinished, I still think it's one of the best games I played this year. So that speaks volumes to its quality. I love the weirdness of the plot. I love the kind of just the headspace it puts you in. I assume Hotline Miami is like that as well. I've never played Hotline Miami. I should. Clearly, I feel like I probably should.
It's very interesting when you take, like, an excuse plot like Katana Zero. Like, you're playing as a samurai assassin, and here are your targets. And then they include some kind of little quirk to its presentation, like the interrupt system.
Yeah. Oh, man, the interrupt is great.
Then you suddenly become so much more invested in what's going on because you do have control over the conversation. Yeah,
you can actually care about how much is being revealed to you or not. And, like, what the story that's getting told is pretty dang interesting, I think, personally. This idea of, like, I think one of the most, like, horrifying concepts a video game has introduced to me in the last 5 years is the idea of the Chronos death, where you're just kind of in the forest forever, is what they say. Mm-hmm. Or you're in the jungle forever, where, you know, you're dying and it just lasts an eternity. And, like, that state you're in when you go is what you feel forever. And it's, like, that's an idea that, like, just stuck in my craw, and I couldn't let it go. And it's that combination of, like, you know, you feel like Headhunter and 15 and Zero are all, like, interesting, cool people, and every single one of them is fucking doomed. And I just think that's an interesting idea, and it's a cool thing to play with. I really, really like Katana Zero, if you can't fucking tell. So it's my number 2 game of the year.
Cool. My number 1 should come
I already know it.
It should come as no surprise to anyone who listens to this podcast or who has talked to me in the past 15 years, maybe. It's Kingdom Hearts 3.
The entirety of our friendship began and continued during the wait for Kingdom Hearts 3.
It's everything I could have wanted Kingdom Hearts 3 to be. But everything about it feels perfect to me. The way it feels, the way the story is written, all of the little quirks and criticisms that people, even Kingdom Hearts fans, brought up about, like, the story presentation are all completely fixed in Kingdom Hearts 3. It feels a lot less like a stage play. Everything feels more dynamic. The game, like, the actions are bigger and brighter and flashier than you could ever hope for. The way the characters are incorporated into their worlds, the Disney settings are all these giant sprawling environments. The story made me cry at least 3 times. When the Remind trailer came out, I was screaming. I was actually screaming and laughing while watching it because of all the things it's going to bring up. Kingdom Hearts is like one of the most important video game franchises to me ever, and 3 met and exceeded all of my expectations. I cannot be happier with this game after all this time, after everything that I've grown up with. To be completely satisfied with seems like a pipe dream, and yet it came true.
Well, now, okay, I need you to take Ben's entire, like, speech he just gave there, right? I need you to take it, and every time he says Kingdom Hearts 3, I need you to replace it with Devil May Cry 5, because that is my game of the year, because it's the exact same feeling. 100% literally the same emotions from start to finish. The idea that a game that you could wait that long for, you know, waiting that long for Kingdom Hearts 3, waiting that long for Devil May Cry 5, and to actually have it come out and be as good, if not better, than you expected is more than I could ever hope for, and yet it still happened. All of the quirks of the game that other people don't like don't matter to me, because what I got in my mind is exactly what I wanted. It is more than enough content. It's 3 playable characters, has some of the best boss fights in the series. I love every single fucking second of Devil May Cry 5. I have beaten this game 3 times now. I love it. I think it's great. am, like you said, totally satisfied, and it exceeded all of my expectations, like Itsuno said it would. I'm so glad that he has put that like phrase into my vernacular now, because it is really the only way to describe my feelings toward DMC5. I love this game. I love its aesthetic and its bosses and its characters and its plot. Its plot's pretty good, actually.
Both of these games, Kingdom Hearts 3 and Devil May Cry 5, feel like the game that both its respective directors have wanted to put out all this time.
Absolutely.
And now finally are able to do it.
Absolutely. This is DMC5 is in a lot of ways in the same boat as DMC3, where Capcom was like, hey, this is our apology. We made you put out DMC2 and DMC4, both of which are total rushed hack jobs. So now you can have all the time and money you need to make like the game you think it should be, and it's the game we got, and I think it's excellent. I love every part of DMC5, except for the fact that it doesn't have enough city levels. I think that's my only complaint. If I had like a single complaint about Devil May Cry 5, is it's that like more like 16 maps should have been in the city instead of I think the 11 that we got. Mm-hmm. That's my only complaint. Literally, that's it, man. I got nothing else to say. I love all of the weapons. I love all of the changes to Nero. I think V is great. He could probably use a little bit more hashing out, although, I mean, considering what happens, I don't know how that's going to work. It's fine. Yeah, I think the game we got is exactly the game I wanted. I love it. It's game of the year, 100%. Yeah, DMC5 GOATY, man. No matter what happens, my taste in things might suck, but DMC5 is GOATY. And it's now probably the best action game ever made.
It's definitely up there, if not, like, the only one I think you could really argue just, like, pure action is probably 3. And then
it's either 3 or 5, and I think 5 wins out slightly more just because of polish and a few, like, small accessibility things, like making the Royal Guard timing more forgiving, like, stuff like that just lets everybody enjoy a style that otherwise they couldn't. Little thing, I mean, some people don't like that. Fuck you. There's nothing... Look, if you're a maniac who likes DMC to be as hard as possible, you can hit the old Royal Guard timings. Like, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that the window is smaller now. Like, the window is or larger now, excuse me. Because you can hit it no matter what. But it's fine that other people can now hit it. It's fine. Like, that's such a small... Like, that's actual gatekeeping shit. Like, a lot of things, we've been having a lot of conversations this year about, like, gatekeeping and difficulty in video games. That's an actual gatekeeping thing. Get over yourself. Other than that, I mean, fuck. Everything that's in DMC3 is in DMC5, including at least one weapon. So, like, I think it's great. I think it's probably the best action game ever made. So, and DMC5 is game of the year.
And, like, Kingdom Hearts 3, I'm like, I've seen, like, people are like, I was disappointed in 3, and I'm like, how? What is missing?
You were on the Kingdom Hearts ride in like 1 and 2, and Kingdom Hearts 3, everything I've seen of it anyways, is just like that, but more.
It's like, I don't know what you expected 3 to have that isn't in 3. Like, what are you...
Right.
Are you mad that there aren't enough bosses? There's tons of bosses. Like, and we're getting more. We're getting so many more. I can't even put myself in the mindset of like, oh, the writing isn't as good. It's never been better. The cutscene composition, the dialogue, the banter between characters, it's never been sharper.
Right.
I'm just like...
I think it's extremely funny that you and I mean, like, literally everything you say about Kingdom Hearts 3 could be just replaced with DMC5, and it's like, yeah.
Both of these games are the fucking bicep clasp.
Absolutely.
Of like...
That's the title card for this episode, baby.
Like, best games in their franchise that inexplicably have people who were upset for inconceivable reasons.
Totally bullshit reasons. Reasons that don't even remotely matter in my mind.
Reasons that are like, oh, you were never going to be happy with this game.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, I just think DMC5 is everything I wanted DMC to be. I love all of the enemy design. I love the level design. I love everything they did with the combat. I love everything they did with these characters. Obviously, if you've heard me rant for 800 years about how much better Dante is now that he sucks and smells bad, there's like actual depth in this game that I wasn't expecting before. There's so much going on, like in the plot of DMC5 that I never thought I was gonna get, and Itsuno was like, here you go, have fun.
It's all for you.
It's everything you've ever wanted in a game. In a Devil May Cry game, a game that you've been playing since you were like, I think I was like 12 or 13 when DMC5 or DMC1 came out, and it's like, oh cool, this is the end of the road. I want 6 more than anything, but if we never got 6, I would be okay because I like 5 that much.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
I would just really like my Virgil DLC. If we're not going to get a 6, then can I please get my Virgil DLC? Other than that, we're good, baby. We're good.
Yeah. I got what I wanted. And I wanted a lot.
And you're getting more.
You are
certifiably getting more, my friend. You got it confirmed. It's 22 days away.
God, I cannot believe I'm getting more Kingdom Hearts 3 content.
And we're getting something with Devil May Cry. It might be 3, though.
We're getting something Virgil related.
Something mysterious is happening in Osaka, so we're both about to be happy. It's okay, man. Life is good right now. Everything else might suck, but video games are still cool.
The economy in shambles. Whatever, I gotta get my game on, bruh.
War with Iran? Who cares? At least Kingdom Hearts is getting its DLC. Not to bring us down, but hey, it's fine. It's cool, man. It's all good. We got video games to at least be a little bit of bright spot in our lives. Thanks, video games. 2019 kicked ass.
Thanks, 2019, for being very good.
Packed with shit, because it actually does seem like 2020 might actually have a summer games drought as everybody kind of preps for the new consoles. And I'm okay with that, frankly. I am okay with nothing of import coming out after Cyberpunk 2077, which is kind of what it seems like. After 2077, it's gonna be kind of quiet.
I've got everything that's gonna come out in March to play.
Oh, God, thank you so much, you assholes, for putting everything out in March.
Why are people still putting out games in March when Final Fantasy VII and Cyberpunk are coming out in March? Stop!
No, Cyberpunk comes out April, and 7 comes out in March. But even then, it's like early April. So it's like, y'all, you gotta chill. You're gonna get killed.
We're gonna be busy. We don't have time.
The only thing I'm making time for is Animal Crossing, because that comes out in March as well. That's it. But Animal Crossing I can put in my purse. So
Animal Crossing isn't like a significant time requirement like two massive RPGs are gonna be.
I do like that, like, Cyberpunk is coming out right after FF7, because it's like, hey, look, it's like the ideal version of both types of RPGs, like JRPGs and WRPGs. It's like, there you go. This is the differentiation. It's like both can be extremely good for different reasons.
Everyone's gonna be happy.
Everybody's gonna be happy, except for Persona fans, because everything I've heard about Persona 5 The Royal is like, oh man. It's
like, oh, that could have been DLC, actually. Never
mind.
That
could have actually been DLC. Whoops. I have a lot of people to apologize to on Twitter.
I was wrong. I'll hold the L on that one.
Thanks for the L, Atlas.
It turns out it wasn't as much as we thought. But Scramble will come out, so that'll be fine.
Yeah, but fucking Scramble's not coming out until like fucking September, even though it comes out in February in Japan. We're going to wait until September, probably.
God, that's so stupid. I hate Atlas.
You know I'm right. Atlas is so fucking stupid. That's not the right way to end this year. It's a bad vibe. It's a bad vibe to end this year on.
Anyway, go listen to that list again and find something you like and tell us what you liked.
And also go listen to all the extremely good video game soundtracks that came out this year. There's a lot.
There were a lot of really good soundtracks.
So, yeah, 2019 was great for video games, even if nothing in 2020 is coming out that interests you, which I doubt, but, it could be. Something came out in 2019 that I think you'll like. So, yeah. Video games is still good.
All right, so thank you, Broke for Free Future background music. You can follow me on Twitter at The Gorge Podcast. You can follow Sara at radioinactivity. And hey, if you want to help us out, again, you can subscribe for your free audiobook at audibletrial.com/gorgecast, or you can donate to our Ko-fi or our Patreon at kofi.com/thegorge or patreon.com/thegorge, and it would really help us out. If we can get to 500 a month on Patreon, we're starting our secondary stream called The Bad Game, where we will stream exclusively stream trash. Just absolute garbage games. It'll be tons of fun.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. And if you want to listen to Sara talk about other things that aren't video games, you can listen to her other podcast.
Hey, I'm in another podcast called Big Gay Nerds, where me and a bunch of cool queer friends get together and we play tabletop games. We try out lots of different systems. We have a lot of fun. I'm not in the current block. The current block, however, is Star Wars and is very good. You should come check us out at Big Gay Nerds at SoundCloud, and you can find the links to the rest of our social media from there. Thanks.
All right, that'll do it for us. What do you got for 2019?
For 2019, what do I got? There's so much, dude. There's a lot. Man, but for real though, fuck Atlas's release schedules. I hate them so much. Now that it's the end of the episode, I actually can say this without bringing anybody down, because I don't know how many people make it to this part of the podcast. I just think it's the worst. Every other big, fucking Tales of Arise is probably gonna have a simultaneous release. A game franchise that nobody expected to ever have simultaneous releases. It'll probably come out, if not simultaneously, then within a month and a half of each other. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's fucking Atlas. Persona 5 Scramble looks really good. And I am gonna have to wait until July, September to play it.
And that's
ridiculous. That makes me so... I'm gonna have to dodge spoilers for that long. And I got bad news for Atlas. I'm not gonna. I'll watch that whole fucking game on YouTube. And it better have Persona 4 characters in it. That's all I gotta say. So, good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.